welcome to Just Talking Business. I thank you for joining us again. I am Stephanie Van Bark, and I am a small business owner. And we are talking to small business owners who've had to learn to pivot in order to keep their businesses alive. And this is our guest today is a very good example of a situation where a personal pivot was required and therefore required a business pivot. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about how she was able to make that happen and excel anyway. So without further ado, hello, how are you?
Hey, boo. Hey, Steph.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell y'all, this is my sorority sister. So you know how I am with my sorority sisters. But anyway, go ahead. Tell me who you are and what you do.
Hello, world. How's everybody doing? I am Melanye Haywood, and I am a serial entrepreneur. But primarily today, I'm going to be talking about my baby of all of my ventures, and that is Anew Decor by Melanye. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I can be a voice for entrepreneurs who've had to pivot during this pandemic season. And I'm just blessed to be able to be here to talk about it, to survive it, still be thriving and all of that. So thanks for
Well,
having
thank you
me.
so much.
Mhm.
Now, most of you, if you watch the show, you notice Melanie has been here before. But at the time, she was here as part of a half of a partnership, which was her husband. Since then, she's let everyone know that she's had to go through a divorce, and that required some shifts when it came to the business as well, because at that time they were both entrenched in both. So she's going to guide us a little bit as to some of the things that she did or had to do in this transition. So I'll start with this first big question: is how did you start over? Let's start with that.
Which part?
How much time do we have?
Start over with what? Which part?
Well, once you realize things were about to split, how were you framing in your head the start over or the shift in your business, or did it come that quickly?
Well, let me just say, my dreams are my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And decorating is my ultimate passion. It's something that I like to say is in my blood. My mother was an excellent decorator. She didn't have a business, but I started my decorating business prior to her dying. So I wanted to make sure that she saw me putting it in motion, because it was one of those things that we talked about prior to her getting sick, that we would go into business together. So even though, my marriage didn't work, I was like, I have, branded myself. I've
Mm-hmm.
put myself out there in this community as being known as somebody to the go-to to decorate, and it has to
Mm-hmm.
continue.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, my name was a part of, my my marriage name was a part of, kind of a part of my name. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to basically rename it. And um honestly, I just prayed about it, and God gave me this name,
Mm-hmm.
Anew, because everything was anew,
Mm-hmm.
I'm branding myself as now a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole business plan and everything had to be revamped with new
Mm-hmm.
names. Not so much what I was doing, but just my names had to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Anew Decor, the word anew, starting anew, was very fitting
Right.
for, me rebranding myself. And it was appropriate for people desiring a new decor. So it just came to me, and I went with it. And
And so
it's
that name change, you know, people, as you mentioned, we all knew you as Shinshik. And did you find that your audience, your clientele transitioned with you, or did you really have to start from scratch and figure out a marketing strategy to get that audience back and create a new one?
Well, I think it was kind of two things going on. Like I
Mhm.
I branded myself personally,
Okay.
But it also coincides to my business ventures.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, to be as discreet as possible, I keep my personal business to myself. But I
Mm-hmm.
think my following kind of was aware that I was
Mm-hmm.
making this personal transition, and they just kind of moved along with me.
Okay.
And so I didn't make like a big announcement, oh, my name is changing. It's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, I had my logo ready, I had my name ready, and then I added by Melanie. So they
Okay.
know it's still me,
Right. Okay.
and they just roll with me, and I haven't missed a beat.
Now, one thing I saw you do over the pandemic that I thought was very interesting is you started a Facebook page for folks that was sort of all about making your home space or transitioning your home space into your office space,
Mhm.
which quite frankly I thought was brilliant since we were all stuck in the house and really got that momentum going and it's still going now. Have you realized, first of all, how much of an audience do you have following you on that in that
It
group?
is now at like 75,000
Very
followers,
cool. Very
and
cool.
it's
And
called Black
go ahead.
Women Who Love Indoor Spaces.
Okay.
And it's kind of just taken off on its own. It's got, some people that are decorators like me, some people that just like to look for ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a movement of its own. Like I tap in and I'm like, wow. And every now and then, I'll display my followers or my members
Mm-hmm.
decorating things that they're doing in their homes on my pages, and it's just like, or I'll comment. It's taking off on its own, honey.
Very nice. Because I mean, I see it sometimes, and definitely people are sharing their own examples of the things that they're doing in their home. It's really good feedback for those people, again, who are stuck in the house or trying to transition their home. Have you found clients through that
I
platform?
actually have,
Very cool. Very
yes,
cool. Very
I
cool.
have had clients reach out to me, and
Mhm.
so it's a win-win for everybody.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about. I was looking at your resume, and you have an undergrad from FSU, a graduate degree from Nova Business Program, and then you have a specialization degree from the Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and that specialization is decor, is interior design.
Mhm.
How much of these advanced degrees helped you in the development of your business, and do you think it's really helped you um, have clients trust you more now that they know that you've gone through these tiers of education?
Not only the advanced degrees, but even my um, high school and my undergraduate was in advertising and
Mhm,
communications. And so, getting my master's in business and entrepreneurship, all of those things just kind of, merge. You know how they say sometimes you go into things and you don't know how
mhm,
God is going to mold everything to come together and how
mhm,
everything comes back full circle. Well, for me, it's worked because the marketing, my logos, I do all of that.
mhm,
Of course, the business entrepreneurship masters,
mhm,
you have to. I like to tell a lot of people, because nowadays, especially during the pandemic, everybody's starting a business,
mhm.
and I truly believe that we all are uniquely designed. And I think I mentioned this before on your show, that we all are uniquely designed with special gifts,
Mhm,
and we have a purpose that
mhm,
all of us, should, in my opinion, as an entrepreneur, we should all pursue it. However, there's another layer to
mhm.
having a business. You
Right.
have to have a business mind, because
Yeah.
outside of just, executing whatever your gift is, you got to know how to price certain things.
Mhm,
You've
mhm,
got to know how to, you know, position yourself with the competition. You have to know the marketing aspect of it. You've
mhm,
got to know, the finance and accounting aspect of it. It's a lot that goes into running a business if you want a
mhm.
real legitimate business.
Right.
And you want it done the way it should be done. So all of my, educational background
Mhm,
has definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, just enhanced my God-given gift of decorating so that I stand above, just a regular decorating
Right.
company
Right.
that, and yes, it does, I believe, get my clients to trust me even more. So not just, they know that when they come to me, I'm going to handle it professionally.
Right.
They trust that I know what I'm doing and that I've scaled the prices and I've done my research to know how much to charge.
Right.
And they know my marketing. I have colleagues that are in the organization with me, the real estate staging organization, that they are very good decorators, but they don't have a handle on the marketing
On the
aspect.
business part of
And
it.
with the social media life that we live in, we have to be able to market and package to display what it is that you're doing. And if not, nobody will know what you're doing. So
Right. That's true. So it's wait, I forgot the question. That's bad, right?
that's
It's so much in there I want to unpack, and I'll get back to your agency
okay.
for sure. Um, so during the pandemic, were you able to benefit from some of the programs that were out there?
I didn't touch the PPP loan. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Where
I, I,
was
I
it you were you were afraid or
honestly, I don't think my organization is big enough to step into that. And I've heard so many horror stories about it. And like I said, I don't know if you mentioned this, but I'm also a full-time employee. So I
Mm,
leveraged my financial needs with my job.
you
I
did
invest in
right,
myself. So I
right.
didn't necessarily need to do that. So
How many employees do you have?
I have myself and I have my assistant. And during the pandemic, and I don't know if this was going to be one of your questions, but I went to a virtual world a
Right,
lot.
right,
Like
right, right.
I pivoted, right, with my personal life, but also with my business life. And
Mm-hmm.
I learned that a lot of what I do and tapping into my graphic skills, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to maintain my clients and get new clients because I have that graphic design background.
Right.
So as opposed to me being face to face in their homes,
Mm-hmm.
I would, we would meet on Zoom and I would do my consultations on Zoom, and I still do. And I'll have them, video things for me, send me the videos,
Okay.
take pictures, and
Okay.
then I could create what I want it to look like through my graphic design.
Okay.
And not only do I decorate, but within decorating, I also sell items, decor
Okay.
items. I
Okay.
also, am a home shopper.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different elements to what I discovered that I could do
Using
without being face to face.
right.
So yeah, I didn't have to,
When you were talking
you
about the
know,
business aspect of it, I knew what I wanted to say. And you
yeah.
and I have talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you're in creative industries like ours, a lot of people just focus on the creativity and don't understand that there's that side of it that's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, when did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And then when did it really click to you that you were?
So listen, when I was 4 or 5 years old, my dad was an entrepreneur. He
Okay.
became an entrepreneur. He started a landscaping business, which he still has to this day
Mm.
in Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia, rather. And I helped him create his logo.
Oh,
And
cool.
he still has his logo that I created on a paper bag. His land, shout out to my daddy. That's where I get the
Hey, Dad.
hustler side of myself from. But his business it's called Happy Day Land Service.
Oh, cool.
And Happy Day, the logo, when he told me the name, I was like, oh, okay, daddy. So I drew two happy faces, his face and my face, and put them next to each other. And that was the logo. And
Oh, that's
he still to this day has the piece of paper that I drew on.
cute.
So watching him build his business and continue his business after, I ain't gonna say my age, but he's been doing
I
it
know, but I ain't
over
gonna tell you.
over 30 years. It's in my blood. And then my
Mhm.
mom was a go-getter and a decorator, so you put those two together and here I am.
So, when did you feel like, I know for me, for many, many years, I felt like an imposter. So, when did you feel like, okay, there, now it's not just I'm dreaming it, I am it. And when did that hit?
Well, I was that kid that was doing the lemonade stands on the side of the street
Okay.
in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've always been, a hustler. And then
Mhm.
I decided after getting my degree, my undergrad degree in advertising and communications, I was like, you know what? For my master's, I want to do it in business. And at Nova, thankfully, um, they had a program where they specify in entrepreneurship.
Right.
So back then, I was gung ho on
Sorry.
I'm gonna start me a coffee house, and I'm gonna have me a I said I was gonna have a record store, because back
Okay,
then
cool.
records were popular. Well, fast
Exactly.
forward
A
now.
little different now. Thank
Yeah,
goodness you
I had
didn't
my
do that
whole
one.
business plan. I was gonna start a
Mm.
record store. I did my internship at a local record store here. And so I was like, I'm going to create a coffee house and a record store. And yeah, and it's going to be a poetry spot at the same time. And fast forward,
That's no longer in
of course,
existence.
decorating was going to be incorporated in that because it's all about the ambiance. But like I said, when my mom got sick, and I know
Mhm.
that was a dream that we always said we would do together, I
Mhm.
started putting my decorating business in motion and setting my brand up and getting
Being
into the
intentional.
streets and getting people to know me for that. And then when I got the gig with Super Bowl, that really branded me.
Right. Really set you on that path to say that is literally where I'm supposed to be. And I'm sorry, I'm
Mhm.
fighting my cat who keeps trying to get up here. So your tagline we talked a little bit about is fashion beyond the closet. And one of the things you also add with that is at the client's pace and budget is how we move. How did you and when did you identify that that was your niche? Um, we're
So
in
my
South Florida, so
clientele,
there are a lot of expensive houses here. So I'm
mhm,
sure there's a lot of work out there for expensive things. But you tend to work with those of us who want a nice house but may not have the same kind of budget. What I mean, what made you figure out that's the niche you wanted to
and
cater?
that's what I was gonna say. So when I got into, really doing this business, when I first started, of course, it was more of my friends needed their homes decorated. They come
Mhm.
to my house, they like what they see. Melanie, can you do this? Family
Right.
members, Melanie, can you do this? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna really get serious about this and turn it into a business. And
Mhm.
so my clientele has become, primarily either people trying to sell their homes
Mhm.
or people that have been in their homes for a while and they just want to spruce it up.
Uh-huh.
They're tired of, because every so often the trends change.
Right.
And it could be that, especially with the pandemic, they realize, oh, I don't have a home office.
Right.
Melanie, can you help me turn this room into a home office?
Right.
And so these are, hardworking people, um, in all budgets, they
Mhm.
just want, just like with clothing, they just
Mhm.
want to change up.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that, I started, looking at the products that I offer, and stop thinking of just, I'm going to go in their home and I'm going to decorate everything and then I'm out.
Right.
It's more of like a continual relationship. I have a
Mhm.
relationship with my clients. So, we could be working on one room this month and another room, next year,
Right.
but it's all at their pace. So I
Right.
always try to make sure I let my clients know that, listen, I work on your budget. It's all up to you, and it's all up to how soon you want things done.
Right.
So today, you may only have a budget to purchase a couch. But
Mhm.
I know because I'm doing this every day, where to go to get the best deals.
Mhm.
I know the trends that are in. I know I've been doing this so long, I know how to pull it all together. I can see the vision that you can't see.
Right. Absolutely.
So I like to tell people that because so many of us watch HGTV and then we see, boom, I call a decorator, they just change my whole house, and then I
Right.
come home and it's done. Well,
Nope.
if
It
you
don't work
have the
like that.
budget, to pay me to just do it all
We will
in
do
one
that.
spot, I will gladly do it. But in reality,
That it doesn't work like
It
that.
doesn't always happen that way. I
Right.
have had clients that, they give me, listen, I just
Couple.
want to give you this money. You go shop, you do the shopping, you do everything. They have the budget and I
Right.
can make it happen. But if you don't have the budget like that, and it's more of like, just like we buy our clothes, you do a little here, a little there, you buy a little here, you buy a little there. I service those clients as well. And that's majority of my clients, that's what they
Mhm.
are. And it's a long-term
For
relationship.
sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm
So they
always
always come back to
kind of
you.
right. I like to call it home fashion, where
Right.
it's like I'm your home fashion consultant. So
Right.
when you want to make a change, you call me and I'll help you make the change.
That's very cool.
Mhm.
So I remember one time, and I thought it was actually really cool because I never experienced anything like this. You invited some of your closest friends to your home, and we had this sort of it was almost like a book club meeting, but it was really like a bunch of women who were stylish, hip happening, and you kind of had us think about and come up with what our home aesthetic preferences would be and some things that we could do to spruce up what we were doing. And I like one of the things I remember and I still do today is there's one color you want to have as a theme throughout your entire house. So just things like that. Is that also one of your marketing opportunities? I mean, I know you can't invite everybody to your house, but have you found ways to incorporate that at maybe a coffee house and are continuing those kinds of relationships? And has that also been one of the tools that's generated and created opportunities for clients for you?
Yes, most
Okay.
definitely. I do workshops like that, and that was so
Mhm.
much fun.
It was.
I,
It
I
was.
also do workshops. I've teamed up with several real estate agents because
Hmm.
I've gotten into staging as well, and I'm really big on educating because
Hmm.
that's the
Hmm.
educator part of me, where I like to, even when I take on a client, I like to educate them on how to start to embrace or understand that decorating is kind of like a lifestyle, right? Just
Right.
like fashion, home, like just like when we dress,
Hmm.
it's, to me, it's the same thing. If
Right.
you don't, your home should represent you, and you should
Absolutely.
feel good when you're home,
Absolutely.
because that's where we spend, when we're not at work, that's where we are.
Right.
And so I like to try to educate my clients on my thought process and
Okay.
how things work. Like there's a certain art to how you hang pictures. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
there's a certain art to, the way you make up your bed.
Okay.
That most people won't think about. And as you mentioned, there's a certain art. Like if you want to feel a certain way when you get home, there's
Hmm.
certain colors that are going to make you feel that way.
Right.
And
Right.
there's certain ways to pull your home in every room together so that when someone walks in, they're like, wow,
Right.
your house really pops. Well, there's a secret, but there's a art behind why it pops,
That's
and
right.
why when you go from one room to another room, it kind of flows.
Right.
So I like to do those
And I've been to
workshops.
her house. It really is a beautiful home. But okay, that's
Thank you.
beside the point.
So there's a art to it, just like with anything. There's an art to basketball, art to
Mhm,
football. Like,
mhm.
but yes, those types of workshops have created opportunities because I'm
Okay.
big on creating a relationship with my
Okay.
client. I don't want it to be that I just come in your house and I do one little thing and that's it.
Mhm.
No, we have a relationship. So
Okay.
when you want to make that change, let me call Melanie. And so yeah.
So you are involved in also some industry um, organizations. I hear you talk about them a lot. How has that been helpful to you in terms of both um, becoming more of an expert in your field and also securing clientele and creating opportunity for yourself?
It has definitely helped expand my clientele
Okay.
base. Um, it's also helped me to be able to collaborate with other people in the industry. So
Okay.
I think one particular organization that you're speaking of is RESA, which is Real
Mhm.
Estate Staging Association, the Broward chapter. That's the chapter that I'm active in. And so I joined it probably about 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
now I am the vice president of membership.
Congratulations.
And thank you. So, and it's kind of cool because in my position, I it goes into, the group that I created. I'm able to share that organization now with the pandemic life. I
Mhm.
can get people from all decorators from all over the world to be a part of our meetings, or people that are good at decorating, they just don't know where to start.
Right.
So it's put me in a position to be kind of like an educator or like a mentor.
Okay.
Because when I came into the industry, I just went with, this is what I'm good at. This is what I know I've always been good at. Even in college,
Mhm.
my apartments were always laid out.
Right.
Um, but I know this is what I'm good at, and I want to do something with it.
Right.
But I kind of had to navigate, and meeting people is a part of becoming a successful business. You have to
I
network,
agree. I
and
agree.
the more people you meet, the more opportunities you create. So all of those things
Mhm.
have definitely, exposed me to audiences that I probably would not have been able to tap into. And
Okay.
being a
Okay.
part of that organization makes me more credible,
Okay.
above, other decorators, because to be attached to that organization, which is nationwide,
Right.
I'm a certified RESA, member. That speaks volumes.
Right. 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 So what's next? Like, you and I have talked about where we see this going, and I'm excited about what we've talked about. But what's next, and how do you figure you, or are you currently working on that a formal growth plan to hit some of those intentions, or is this, let me just be here now and then I'll get to that point?
What's next? I love decorating people's homes. Like
Mhm.
right now I'm just focused on branching out and getting my name and my brand out to as many
Mhm.
homeowners, realtors, because right now we're in an era, in this moment, where a lot of realtors and decorators are teaming up, because so
Okay.
many people are trying to sell their homes. So that right there, that industry right there, that connection, that merge is
Mhm.
booming right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And their realtors are realizing that although a lot of them, they can decorate, but it makes a difference of how long a property is sitting when you
Right.
have a decorator to come in and set the tone. They sell quicker.
Okay.
A decorated home, a well decorated home, sells quicker than, you know, just, regular piecemeal,
Boxes and right.
furniture here and there. So
Right.
realtors are starting to see the value add and the investment in getting a decorator to stage their homes.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
there's a lot of, and I'm learning that from being in my organization. We're doing a lot of collaborative workshops
Oh,
where we're
cool.
teaming up with realtors, and they're also like including it in their packages when a home somebody's trying to sell their
Nice.
home reaches
Very
out
nice.
to them. They're making that piece a part of, okay, I can help you sell your home, but this is the fee that we ask for
Okay.
you to pay for us to have a decorator to come. You
Very nice.
Yes.
Very
So
nice.
that's the area right there that I'm really, really trying to
Drive.
expand. Yes.
So what happens if, there's always this thought out there around, the bubble will pop. So are you and your industry having those same kind of conversations about what's next steps if that should be the case? We don't know when that's going to be, but there was a 2008. So how are you um planning or strategizing for the possibility?
But see, that's the good thing about a decorator. When the bubble pops, and it's not a seller's market anymore, what does that mean? It's going to
It's
be
a
a what?
buyer's market.
A
So
buyer.
now you just change who you
So when
market
it's a buyer's market, what's going to happen? They're going to
to.
want their homes to be
Correct.
decorated.
So you just change who you market to.
That's it.
Instead of realtor, now you're talking directly to the folks.
Yes.
Beautiful. Very good idea.
Yes.
Very good idea. So let me make sure I'm asking you all your questions. So I mean, honestly, it just seems like you, and I've watched you, so I got a little bit of a closer view. But it almost feels a little like you didn't really miss a beat. I mean, I know there was a period of time where you felt like you were on unsure ground, but you really did sort of kind of keep it moving. Do you feel that way? Or, because, I wasn't with you every moment, but do you feel that way? Or do you feel like it was a complete start from scratch? Got to do things differently.
Oh, you mean when I went through my divorce and I had to pivot?
Yeah, you had to be.
The train didn't stop. It was more of the timing, right? Because I was going through a divorce and I had to do it correctly so that I handled my business.
Right.
And so the train didn't stop. I was still, decorating. It was really just a name change.
Okay.
And I really didn't make it, a big pub. I kept the same colors.
Right.
In the logo. So that made the transition, smooth. It was, and then I added my name. So a lot of people connect me to decorating already. So, and then I found, I just kept it moving. They move with me. If you don't make it, a big deal, people are gonna react the way you react.
Oh, true. That's very true.
So it was just, business as usual. I just changed my name. That's it.
So what would you advise that woman or man who there is both a professional and a personal partnership and they're going through that transition as many people went through during the pandemic? What are some tools of advice to help set you up for that transition? What do you wish someone would have said to you?
I think the main thing is you just got to make sure you're together. You got to once you make the mental shift and you get your heart and your mind to connect to where you're going, the rest is easy.
Okay.
So before I started making the moves, I got this together. And I got my heart together because I knew what was coming up, what I would have to do. But once you accept what's happening, right? Once you understand your purpose and remember your purpose, and it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Life goes on. The bottom line is make sure that whatever move you're making, you're going to be happy.
Right. And are there any legal steps you recommend? I mean, there's a couple that's had a building over here that's been in all kind of legal drama for years because they were trying to sever ties. Are there any recommendations legally that you think a person should consider while they're going through that transition as well?
Thankfully, I was blessed to be in a position where things were kind of amicable, so to speak. Okay. So we just kind of shut down the business that we had. And the way our business was set up, it was kind of like we had an umbrella, but then certain aspects of the business were my babies, and then certain aspects of the business were, my ex, his stuff. So I just took
what was yours,
what was mine, and rebranded and renamed it and put it under my own enterprise, which, let me plug it, by the way, MB Enterprise Unlimited. And that was it.
Look, I ain't have to be.
And thankfully, like I said, I have the graphic skills. So I just renamed, did my logos, meditated, for a while, putting my logos together, got some feedback, and I'm the type of person, once God gives it to me, I go with it.
So, okay, now before we go, Melanie mentioned from the very beginning she's a serial entrepreneur, and that's true because she and I are doing a venture together. So I'll ask you to share more about that, and we can talk about that together. Go ahead.
So Steph is my sister, my friend, and my hustle buddy. Is what I like to call
we
She's my
lean on
hustle buddy. So we
we pat
have,
on each other's shoulders quite a bit.
yes, and we're always having these conversations. Whenever we're at a stump or we have a question. That's one thing I want to tell entrepreneurs. Listen, it's so important that you have at least one person
Mm-hmm.
when you have questions, even if you all are not in the same industry. Just somebody that you can talk to about business,
Mm-hmm.
and you all can encourage each other and inspire each other. So Steph and I do that often. And we were having a conversation, especially during the pandemic. And we're pretty positive people. We're always trying to inspire and empower business owners,
Mm-hmm.
specifically Black business owners. Um, and I was like, Steph, and we like having fun together too. That's the other thing. So I was like,
You're
Steph,
usually
we
doing
can do
something.
something where we can just have a community or a network of other business owners, and then while we're moving we can kind of support business owners at the same time, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
win-win for everybody. So we came up with this idea called the Motivate Society, which please follow us, because
Yes,
we're trying
please.
to build a movement
Mm-hmm.
a little different than other movements. We kind of just specifically want to be a network of Black business owners. And we just meet, here and there once a month at different locations.
Right.
But a DJ, food is always involved, drinks is
Right.
always involved.
You get to meet some new people
Yes.
that you are just amazed that there are these business owners out there with these types of businesses, and it becomes a support system. A lot of times we're working in a silo, and now you have a place to go.
Or even
And
if you're just an aspiring business owner,
hmm
like
hmm
you want to have a business, you want to start a business, but you just don't know where to start. And the best way to know is to talk to other business owners.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because then you get a sense of, you get to hear stuff like this. Like you would have never, who has those kinds of bold conversations about what do you do in these circumstances? And people are pretty candid. They're pretty open about the struggles.
Yes.
Because
And it's a lot. We have a lot of fun too.
the
So
struggle is real.
the struggle is real. It's
It's
not
real.
always, pretty, but you got to keep going.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
So yes, please follow us, the Motivate Society. We are looking to do our next event sometime in May, but I haven't done my job. I got to find a location, so I will do that,
Yeah, because
and
I'm
we
tired
will
of
let
people asking me, when is the next one? When is the next one?
you know because I think we did a couple that went, had really good following. It is for, just so you know, it's for women and men. It's for any business owner who feels like they need a support system. So we will stay tuned. I'll make sure we share it on I'm Just Talking Business as well. And thank you so much. Before you go, tell us how we can find you.
Y'all follow me. Follow me on on everything: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's Anew Decor, by Melanie,
Mhm.
and join my decorating group as well. Black women who love indoor living spaces on Facebook.
Yeah,
And you can also go to my website, www.anewdecor by Melanie, Melanye.com. And
very cool.
you
Thank
can
you so
also
much
hit up
for
Stephanie. She could get me quick.
That's true. That's very true. I'll do the hey, somebody want to get some interior decorating going. And she's also done some work for me too. So she does a great job too.
And
Um
corporate events also.
that
I also decorate
Very
corporate.
true.
I've done
Very true.
FITSY, which is it's been so long, Florida International Trade Cultural Expo
Okay.
in
Okay.
Broward. Before the pandemic, I did that every year. I was responsible for decorating their tables. So corporate events, I decorate as well. So flower arrangement.
Our sorority She's usually the person that does the decoration and always comes out fabulously. And the Super Bowl. I saw that.
Super
It was
Bowl.
amazing. It was amazing. So yes, definitely worth it. Giving a look. I tell you, I've seen her stuff. I know I'm being a little maybe
Bias.
because of the relationship, but I wouldn't steer you wrong. I swear to God, she does a great job. Thank you for coming back to us again. Please stay tuned and keep us posted on what you're doing. And of course, anything you're doing, we love to share. So tag Just Talking Business as well.
Thank you, Steph, for having
Thank
me.
you so much. I will see you soon, probably right after this.
Be on purpose.
Thank you so much. Again, amazing show. I always know I learn a lot, and I hope you do too. We'll see you again next week right here with another business owner who has a wealth of information as to how you can guide and maneuver in this place called entrepreneurship. Until next time, talk to you soon.